bad fish right there, guys. Nice smallmouth. Not bad at all. Awful mess of stuff I've ever seen in my life. Right in there. There's all that stuff right there. Inside the brush pile. I might just be laying on top of the brush pile the way it kind of feels. Oh, it came off. Dang it. Yeah. No. Come on up here, buddy. Not bad at all. So guys, I was fishing a brush pile down there with this drop shot, and I caught one a little while ago on it, and of course the GoPro was off, but it just shows you right there, they're biting. That man swallowed this thing. Let's try to get it out of there without hurting him. He was just barely skin hooked right back there in his gullet. Let's get some pliers and make this as painless for him as possible. So what I'm going to do right here, guys, I'm going to kind of pull this worm back and help this dude out some. Get this thing back out. Not a bad fish right there, guys. Very, very post-spawn. You can see this thing's super skinny. Its eyes are sunk back in its head. It's probably been back here in one of these little pockets spawning for a while. And so it's come out here to this brush pile to rest and feed up before moving out really deep. So we'll get a release on this fish, let it go back to eating. Lord, thank you, Lord. All right, let's see if we can't pull one more out of that brush pile. Fish just busted right there. Tiny, tiny bass. Alright guys, so I decided to go with the 12-inch worm on a big 6/0 welded hook, welded die hook, 1/2 ounce tungsten. Got a 50-pound mainline braid to a 20-pound fluorocarbon leader. I'm going to toss it up here in this brush pile and see if maybe one of the bigger ones is sitting down there waiting for a big meal instead of just that little drop shot. And if that don't work, we'll move on. I think that cast I was a little too far to the left. I think the brush pile's a little more in. Oh, maybe there it is. Okay. Last cast, and then we'll go to a different brush pile and see if we can't do the same thing. Drop shot and then the big worm to follow up, hopefully to get that big bite. There's got to be one in one of these brush piles that's willing to eat something huge, and I've got a feeling that's the one that we want today. On to the next spot. Alright. First, let's fish this little tree, and then we'll move over there to the brush pile. There's got to be a fish on that laydown. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought there'd be one in there. Not too sure. Alright guys, not a bad little fish out there on the drop shot. Hooked right where he should be. Man, he was hooked really good. He was not coming loose. It's gonna be a hard one to get out of there. One thing about it, these fish, they're eating the drop shot. They're eating it good. It's not like they're just hesitating. They're just eating. Alright. Not a bad fish, guys. Let's put something back. These fish should be following the shade line, realistically. That's what they should be relating to, is the shade. Right here just kind of expands out because it's a tree. Right there should be a fish. Alright guys, I think we caught the old fish off that, so let's move over here, fish that little brush pile we found, see if it's got anything in it. Cast one more time in there. See if we can't catch one. Alright, let's cast to the brush pile now. Alright guys, so right here's the little laydown we caught that fish off of. And right up there where the little orange marker buoy is, that is where my little brush pile is. So I wanted to fish this little laydown first and not spook any of the fish. And now I'm positioned right in front of it so I can cast up there to the brush pile itself. So let's see if there's anything in it. There should be. The brush pile itself is still in the shade. So we'll spot lock right here and see if we can't catch one. Did he just break it? What just happened? Oh, he got my worm. Dang. Oh, looks like it. There's just 2 brushes. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Little water over the back. That dude's floppy. Not a bad little smallmouth. Alright guys, that's going to conclude today's video. Just got the kayak loaded up and off the water, and now we're headed back home. A pretty successful day all in all. You know, I went out there with the mindset of catching fish deep, and just about all day that's what I did. I found a lot of cover and caught the fish in brush piles and laydowns and stuff like that. And then there was also a few fish catches in the shad. I feel like most of the fish that were in the shad were smallmouth, and they were a little bit more finicky, a little harder to get to bite. There's really a really key bait size that if you don't have that size lure, you're probably not going to catch them. But you saw I caught a few fish like that. And plus, that deal right there is just so hard to pattern. There's a ton of those balls of shad and bass all in them, but I felt like the brush pile pattern was just a little bit more easy to replicate. I could find brush piles on the lake, throw the drop shot in them, catch them. You know, pretty simple deal. As for the fish in the shad, they were a little bit more fickle. I could throw swim bait in there, I threw spoons in there, threw top water over top of them, jerk baits, crank baits, threw a lot of stuff in them, and ended up catching the fish on the spoon there at the last. And then I caught the one on the swim bait earlier this morning. And quick tip for you from our good buddy Joe, who was actually texting me, and I was telling him I could not get bit in those shad, and he actually recommended using a heavier head, like a 1/2 ounce or 3/4 ounce, and that allows you to keep that bait down there in the strike zone a little bit longer, because when you're throwing that lighter weight, your bait tends to track up as you're coming back to the kayak or the boat or whatever, and that little bit heavier head keeps it down there just a little bit longer in the strike zone. And not long after he told me that, you know, I caught a few. You know, really sounds like something you don't think about, but it worked, you know. So something to keep in mind. That's a quick tip from your good buddy Joe. But with that being said, you know, I felt like I went out there today and I did what I had planned to do. I wanted to get better at deeper fishing. All the fish I caught today were in 15 feet of water or more, except for maybe the one on the laydown. It was probably in like 10 feet of water. But other than that, most of the other fish catches were all a little bit deeper in brush or suspended in shad. So really wanted to get off the water today before the boat ramps really started getting packed. It was starting to get packed before I left, which is why I got out of there. The big wake boats and skiers were just out running around, and it was sending a lot of wake my way. And I had a pretty long stretch to get back across to the other side of the lake. This morning when I went over there, I did not expect there to be as much boat traffic as there was on a Wednesday, but there was a ton of people out there. So I guess since it's summer vacation, you know, anything is to be expected. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know there wasn't a ton of fish catches, but all in all, it was a pretty good day of fishing and learning how to be a better angler. Guys, I hope you enjoy. As always, make sure to get out there and wet a line. We'll see you guys later.